Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Hyperion Blue GT Champion. So it looks like the first one of the most classic vehicles is definitely quite ready to go for a custom race on GT Sports. So Plymouth is now added in on as part of the September update. So it looks like I'll be able to use the XLR GL Roadster 1960s. A Pebble Beach award design has definitely turns out to be very classy style board, because this one only has one seat, because this one is definitely a retro fine American Roadster board, because this is quite very good to see it board, because the white wall style tires is definitely quite giving an amazing board, because you know, looks like this is an N300 classic vehicle, because this is going to be quite very good impressive boards. So before we begin to do a little bit of race, so let's just give a little bit of check on the performance. So looks like the standard horsepower by default is 250, max torque is almost 200, and this one is a FR drivetrain, because this is going to be quite perfectly good. So the default transmission actually has a 3-speed, so this is going to be quite good. Whenever you're going to go fully customized, so it also has 5-speed to be added up by 2. That might be able to give it a little bit impressive, to give a little bit much adjustment for a performance. So looks like it's time to get ready to get started for this all-out classic Roadster board. So definitely Plymouth used to have that Roadster, because it is only used on the Pebble Beach rewards, so this is going to be quite very good. So let's just get everything started out to choose a track. So maybe this will be able to be on the American track, so this is going to be quite giving a better chosen for. So I might be able to go with the Blue Moon Bay Speedway infield course B, so might be very good for it. So let's see if this is going to be quite getting a little bit much trying out for this awesome retro style vehicle board. So we also remember the several of the Plymouth cars like the Superbird, so might be one of the most classic muscle cars boards. So this one is quite very classic, what's been designed in the 1960s. So probably somehow it was also to be appear in Gran Turismo 6, because might be very good to have this standard Roadster board. Like the 8-bar classic sports car with the 1 million credit on it, so might be very good to see it for one of the most popular classic cars that we never seen it before. But so looks like I'll be able to get trying out for this awesome Roadster for today. I hope the Ford GT40 Mark I is definitely quite giving a good first place head start for it. So this will be able to have 6 laps for now, because this is going to have to take some few more rounds to get everything set up until finishing up the daily workout by today. But look at this engine. It looks ready to go. Time to get some old school with the modern day track. Now, looks like I'll be able to get started out to change the traction control, and then let's begin. So maybe this is going to be quite very good to see it if this is going to be a 3-speed transmission. Well, looks like the interior view was quite very good looking old school style, but well, it only turns out what's left of it, because it also to be giving a little start out by a slow moment. But definitely this car only has a 1-seater vehicle, so might be very retro style for it. It only has to be exclusive available on the classic race, because well, 1960s vehicles are quite giving one classic popular hint after the 1950s. So it looks like this is going to be quite very good to go and race at it, until this will also follow through by having a 3-speed transmission by standard. Well, it is going to be a little bit of a slow start, and the fast ones are quite going at it. Okay, so let's stay on the second gear, and well, maybe this is going to be very hard for it, because this one is definitely a high expensive retro vehicle, was definitely quite turns out to be. So this is going to be quite giving a little bit important fact to see this kind of style. So the Roadster has four headlights on the front, and this one is definitely like, well, almost like a retro futuristic concept car, because this is going to be quite getting a good look for it. So looks like this is going to be quite giving a little bit much chance to operate in for. That'll be able to keep it nice and neat for it. Okay, so definitely, maybe I'm just going to switch back on the interior again. So this is going to be quite very good looking style to go drive in for. Well, maybe on the right, when I'm using the right analog stick to be able to show for it. Well, I kind of think that the XNR Roadster was definitely used to have a two-seater Roadster vehicle, but somehow designers who built this car can also place for only one seater with a steering wheel on it to be able to be drive as well for it. But you know, this is definitely a kind of a retro style vehicle to see for it, because it also has that animation speed monitor to be able to show the total distance. Well, like the Mazda RX 500, it is definitely the 1970s retro sports car, was definitely specifically designed in Japan. So in America, this Roadster style can also drive better where it only has 3 speed on it, because it also has a different distance miles has ever yet to be shown. So take a look on the 4-mile distance. It will be able to be shown when it's definitely moved into 5. That will be quite very good to see the total distance to be able to be made. So I'm just going to keep in track on the total distance when using this interior view. We'll be able to see right in. So looks like I'll be able to give it in whenever I got. Okay, so looks like this is 5 miles in total distance. Now I'm still currently in the run for it. Oh, and a little surprising guess, the hazard lights may be functional if it's definitely going to be turning on green. That might be where the blinking lights might be able to give a little direction at. Now, looks like this is going to be quite getting a little bit much better handling for it. Now take a little bit of a slight turn. Okay, now here comes 6 miles. That might be able to be shown for it. So looks like only 4 more left, and then looks like the top 3 fastest runners are definitely quite going in for it. And it looks like the KTM Expo are really want to go climb up in first. Let's see how the classic XNR Roadster can also give a little bit chance to deal with the gap distance, and this will give it much time. Once the 6 miles, it definitely go on into 7, and then here it comes. .1 miles for a little bit much distance to be long for. Okay, now here it goes. Just watch out and make a little bit of point tapping on the Ferrari 512 BB. Okay, there you go. Just trying to keep on the 100-mile range when you're using on the 2nd gear. That will be quite very impressive that this will be able to go on to Northern Knoxville Speedway for the next round. Oh man, looks like this is going to be quite getting a little bit much better to keep the handling by standardly. Now looks like only has to take 3 gaps left. So probably only got 2 more laps to go, so this is going to be quite giving a little bit of a hard time to spare. Okay, here comes the first turn again. Just keep it a little bit nice and slide, and then there's the Porsche 911 model 996. I hope this classic roadster can also give a little bit last stand to do it. This may be able to give a little bit much harder by using the 3-speed transmission. Go, there's the next turn, just give it right in. Well, it is going to be a little bit specificated to give a little bit of hard turns for any vehicle sports. Okay, so it looks like this is the perfect fastest lap I just made for it, 1 minute and 5.8 seconds. Well, looks like this is going to be very not bad at all. So it looks like this is going to be quite giving another new fast time. Final lap is going to be on its way, because this will give it a little bit much dive on in. Oh man. Well, even so, it is going to be taking a little bit of power slide turn a bit. This will also to give it a much better chance. Okay, so looks like this is going to be quite very close, but I guess this is going to be able to be reached up in 3rd place. Okay, now, well, maybe this will be able to give a little bit of first round example course, so this is going to be quite very hard for this Plymouth Roadster. So this might be able to add on with 2 transmission gears to be able to be added up for. Well, probably this is going to be a first form of back for it. Okay, so I guess that's it. 3rd place for first round, and it's going to be a little bit much more training to do. So the XLR Gita Roadster can also give a better transmission adjustment will be able to be required for. So this one will be able to give it a little bit of example, folks. Whenever you're going to use a 5-speed transmission like this car that I'm using, that might be able to give a little bit much better improvement chance to make it go faster. So looks like I'll be able to have 10 laps on the Northern Islip Speedway in the next round. So this time it will be able to choose a different time condition, so maybe this will be able to go nighttime, because this is going to be quite perfect for it. So looks like this is going to be giving a little bit perfect timing for it. So that might be very good for the XNR Roadster. So this will be able to go pro at it. So penalty settings will be able to be turned on, and then, well, maybe this will be able to give a little bit of short time to see how fast can it go. Well, maybe this is going to be quite very difficult to see it, unless that this might be able to give a little bit of comfortable performance touch on the Roadster Classic, so it will be able to give a much better chance to see it, perhaps if it's going to be giving a little bit of tune-up effect. Now, looks like this time it's going to be able to going on sports soft tires for it. Now, this time I'll be able to put on the 5-speed transmission, will be able to adjust. So this is going to be almost to be at least 200 miles, so this is going to be quite good. So let's find out and see. There we go. So it looks like this is going to be quite good for a 10-lap challenge. Now let's just go back in on the interior view and let's pass all the several cars to give it a little bit half a chance. Okay, so definitely reaching in on 3rd speed by default will be able to give it a little bit much further through. So by using the 5-speed transmission, it could be getting a little bit much tougher if it's definitely coming in much closer up ahead past all the several cars for it. So this is going to be quite very good to use the sport soft tires. Will be able to give a little bit much helpful as possible as you are. So definitely the different interiors has changed the lights to be able to turn on while it's nighttime. So this is going to be quite perfectly well for it. Now, looks like I had to make several passes on each other cars for it, because this is going to be quite very difficult to deal at it. A little bit much more. Better to make this roadster to be quite giving a little bit much cover up, do a little bit much test as usual. Well, it is going to be a little bit much harder for it, because sometimes it also might need to do a little bit of test drive, or also to give it a little bit much practice, but I'm just going to have to do some a little bit much runs for it. Well, even perhaps, this might be able to give it a little bit much harder if this is going to be quite goes up to be at least 200, so this is definitely not enough horsepower to be able to adjust the roadster for it, so this is going to be quite very important to make it go faster for this limit roadster. It's going to be a little bit much harder to make several passes on each car, so maybe for the second round, I'm just choosing the Northern Ontario Speedway, so this might be able to use as part 1. So part 2 of the third round, so this is going to be quite very good at it. Now, looks like this is going to be very much closer up ahead. Looks like I'm on the 14th place, because still more trying to catch up to do. Good path to go on. Well, maybe this is going to be quite giving a little bit of matter of result until when the race is over. They'll be able to take a little rematch for it. Last lap might be giving a one-way ticket in. Okay, so looks like no sign of the fourth and fifth gear during the 10-lap racing for it. Well, maybe I'll just have to change it back to be adjusted very much better for it. Well, looks like this is going to be quite getting a little bit much harder for it. So it looks like I'll be able to get back on the drawing board. Just going to make it much better to be adjusted for the transmission gear. So I would probably recommend to be able to adjust to decrease the top speed for it. So this is going to be quite good. So 143 miles might be able to get enough range to go very much quickly as possible. So let's see what happens for the next test. Okay, so it looks like this is going to be very good in response. Warp speed is definitely just giving the right thing to respond with. Now, looks like I decided I have to go again, because this is going to have to take a little bit much warm-up practice to do whenever it takes. Well, maybe this classic roadster was definitely a bit classic, because it is quite very popular for the rich people. So this might be a very good vehicle to be able to drive around the track, because this is going to have to take a lot more runs to do it. Now, this might be giving much better chance to improve your performance speed. With having the 5-speed transmission, we'll be able to give it much better to go much harder as we can. So adjust the gear settings to be able to decrease the top speed rating. So this is going to be quite giving a little bit much importance. But the only avoiding obstacles don't want to get tossed around by using the Limit XLR Gita Roadster is to do not power slide on the small open speedway track. That might be quite giving a hard time because of the collision. So this might be an important safety factor. Any tips when using this classic roadster, folks? If this is going to be start of the one-make race on sport mode or online lobby, that might be quite giving you a little bit of important tips to give a little bit much better fast performance, to give it a little bit better to improve. so it looks like 6 laps might be able to draw closer in. So this is kind of giving a little bit much better overtake passes to go through it. Okay, very good. Well, don't want to get a little bit too power slide because this is a speedway track, not a drift course. Okay, excellent. Now, taking a little inside pass on the Lamborghini Countach. Now, looks like this has only got a few more small gaps to go because this is going to be quite getting a little bit much speed racing experiment. Okay, looks like this is going to be one more lap and then this test driving is definitely done for good. So this time, the real deal might be coming out on the third and last round for it because this is going to have to take a lot of practice to do it. Okay, looks like this is definitely good for the checker flag. Then all cars are in the winning spots and looks like the others are definitely now in standard positions. Well, looks like I did a good run for the second course. Well, actually I just did 2 times on the same track. So this is going to be quite very good to be setting up to be ready to go, and then the hard challenge might be able to come just to be prepared for this roadster. Alright, so looks like this is going to be drawn very closer for it, almost there to finishing up the daily workout. So this time, it's time to go over to the Nürburgring Nordschleife IP for the final challenge. I hope this roadster is going to be ready. And this time, 1 lap won't be able to turn back on it. So this is going to be able to be prepared for giving a little bit of prep work for it. So probably I might be able to stick with the N300 category type. So this will be better. Now, looks like this is going to be prepared for the most hardest challenge ever yet. Plymouth XLR GW Roadster in the Nürburgring Nordschleife IP to pass all 19 cars to win. If this is going to be quite giving the first place chance to do it. So, looks like the 5-speed transmission could be able to give it much chance to see if the other cars can also to give a little bit of chance to pass the roadster. But that might be quite buried to risk until it's definitely going on the straight. So I should probably have to remind myself to keep an eye out from behind. So, looks like Nordschleife IP race for only 1 lap and it's gonna be on its way. So let's begin and let's see how this roadster can do to survive first place, and it's all or nothing. Okay, so it looks like this is gonna be quite good. So this is going to be quite getting a little bit much power slide to go on the effect. So this is going to be quite very steady vehicle for it. So I might be able to apply for the brake balance adjustment. So let's see how it goes. Now definitely, in case if you really want to change the foot cam, that might be a good choice that you might need to use it whenever you're going to have to make a chance to win this one. So this is going to be quite giving a little bit chance to a prop. Any vehicles will be able to give it much chance to do it. But as possible to be able to give a little bit much corners whenever you're going to make a few passes for it. Now, looks like this is going to have to go right in until let the RX-7 go through for it before I'm about to make a little attempt to pass. Wow, looks like this is going to be pretty impressive for having a 5-speed transmission will be able to give a much better chance to do rather than 3-speed transmission. Well, it also depends when you really want to go with the 3-speed transmission by default. That is definitely quite giving the perfect choice to go for a 1-make race. And for the 5-speed transmission to go expert to take on some few harder challenges opponents, but not the race cars. Standard vehicles does count. Oh man, I kind of think I just literally mistaken on the RX 500 by mistake. Oh man, that's a total bummer. Okay, so that's a little bad race, so maybe let's try again because that was a little bit not counted for it. Sorry about that RX 500 by taking a little bit of hard collision. So, looks like maybe attempt number 2 due to that tragic mistake. So, make sure no bumping around during this race, so this is going to be quite giving a little bit of important effect when you're racing in sport mode. Well, I kind of think I just really got to be reminding myself, so this is going to have to take some practice to keep the SR rating to go in if you really want to increase the driver rating to be very perfect. Well, it is going to be very hard for every racers to be able to go pro at it. But this is going to be quite giving a little bit difficult. Okay, so here we go. Once again, just this time the usual part is going to do it, because this will going to have to race hard without hitting any opponents around. Okay, this is going to be good. So this is going to have to take a little bit of clean passes to go through it with it. Okay, so it looks like the lane just blocked the way. Just going to have to find a way and go in and push alongside with it. So this time, no hitting the RX 500 when you're using the XR Gita Roadster. Okay, so it's just going to keep an eye out and switch it to the hood cam in case if you saw that rotary retro supercar. Just make sure to give a little bit of clean pass before, well, maybe try not to avoid hitting the Audi R8 as much as possible. Okay, so it looks like the RX 500 is definitely trying to keep it a little bit of concentration, keep it nice and steady. Now, looks like I'll be switching back in and continuing on for the chase for first place, because this is going to have to take a lot of struggles to go on for. Okay, so the gear is going to be a little bit over exceed, so this is going to have to keep it concentration to do a little bit of nice and steady for it. Performance improvement that will be able to keep it in and keep it in for a smooth speed sailing. Well, probably if I could probably need to avoid any obstacles, so I just really don't want to cut off the track. That might be cause of a penalty moment. Okay, that's very good. Way to keep that performance, we'll be able to keep the racing motivation up. Looks like I only got 11 gaps to go, and this is going to be one step closer up ahead. Just going to have to keep some few slight turns will also keep me focused if anything goes wrong. Giving a little hard left or right when doing the power slide will be able to give it a little bit much riskier to deal with. Okay, here comes the dive in turn. Just only one car overtake. looks like this is going to be quite very good for it. So part one of the long straight distance will be able to give it a little bit steep turns going on for. So I should probably have to be prepared for the longest one until when we're going out on the tough corners. That might be able to give a little bit much concentration to give it a little bit of risk. Okay, there you go. Brilliant pass overtake on the Toyota SFR. Because this is going to be quite very good, and then I'll be able to reach up to the top 3 cars. And the KTM Expo R is definitely right in the lead. Well, probably the Porsche 911 GT3 model 996 and the BMW M4 are taking a little bit of hard struggle to go through with the Austrian MR sports car. Or maybe the newest S2000 GT1 Turbo was a guess for it. I kind of think I already know it for it. Okay, here it goes. Time to do a little bit of much overtake pass on first, and then the Porsche, and then the BMW. Then time to deal with a 6-gap distance, because this is going to take a lot of hard work to deal. Okay, so stay on the second gear whenever you're going to need to save a little bit much distance to be able to get to be given. Come on, I'm here in blue, just keep at it. You'll be almost there to reach first place to use this XNR roadster. Well, KTM Expo R is definitely currently in the lead. That was quite giving a little bit of Austrian sports run for it. That will be quite giving the expect. Now, all you have to do is giving a little halfway there until the finish line comes. Just go and deal with the Expo, and this will give a much better chance to reach first place if you really want to do a little bit of increased performance. So go right ahead, because this will also help this roadster to win this race. That will also to give a much better chance. Okay, so this time no hitting the Expo, and this is going to give it a little bit much better risk. Okay, excellent turn. Just using that blinking lights to be able to turn on. Okay, here we go. Now this time it will be able to go very risky and take that double cone as a main cue. Whoa man, don't want to get a roll over, because that may be costing the race. Okay, so it looks like this is going to be very much closer. Just give it a little bit much better speed. Deal with some technical obstacle course. And here's the double cone, and then just use that braking point. Then the flower bed might be able to be coming in on any distance right about now. Okay, here we go. The long straight. This is going to be quite very hard challenge for the roadster if the Expo is coming back in. Well, probably there's no mirror view on it, because that's a bad news for it. But hey, it's still only just a 1 million expensive car, because this is definitely the most popular classic. So maybe this is going to be quite giving a better risk of a view. So have the third person view will be able to go at it, because this is going to be able to go giving a hard risk if the Expo is going to be finding a way to make a smart overtake. Okay, looks like the BMW M4 and the Porsche 911 GT3 model 996 is definitely coming on its way. I hope this is going to be quite getting a little bit over exceed, because this is going to be quite giving a much better hard work for all that roadster pace for it. Okay, one last turn and then the finish line is going to be on its way. Turn the TCS1 back on and then it's all pretty good for now. Whew. Man, that was a hard race for today. Cannot believe it, the XNR Roadster did a lot of good hard challenging on the Nordschleife Ilpe, because might be able to be pretty impressive. Well, maybe I'll decide to be staying on a 5-speed transmission gear, because this might be very good at it. So, looks like 50% clean race bonus is quite giving the successful big moment for it. That was a one classic victory win, because that was a total well done finish for the daily workout. Well, I did my best, because, well, somehow I'm just giving a little bit of test to see how fast can it go to beat the stronger ones for it. So maybe go with a 5-speed transmission on the XNR Gita Roadster. It does better whenever you're gonna go with 3-speed on it. So, looks like the usual part on the daily workout is definitely complete, and I guess that this is gonna be... Oh yes, looks like the Dodge Viper SRT10 Coupe is definitely now putting in on as a reward gift. So this will be able to be added in to be used as a library design. Well, the XNR Roadster is one of the most popular classic vehicles in the 1960s, and it's definitely used as a Pebble Beach award, because this one is definitely quite giving the best popular hit classic for it. So this is definitely quite very smooth retro style performance for it, because it was actually quite very the good design of this vehicle made by Plymouth. Well, I kind of think that if Plymouth can also brings out the Superbird, or maybe the few other muscle cars. Oh, and yeah, definitely the PT Spider Roadster from Gran Turismo 2. That's how that we always remembered about that Roadster vehicle was designed by Plymouth. Yep, I kind of think that was the best moment that we always talked about the Plymouth vehicle sports. So definitely the XNR Gita Roadster was definitely welcome to Gran Turismo Sport as part of the September update for it. So before that, I'll be able to use the Dodge Viper for the next race. So this time, SRT Coupe 2006 is definitely next on the list for it, until I'll be able to try out the BMW M3 GT, because this is going to be quite very good to be able to try out the new ride sport. Okay folks, glad that you really enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to click like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. And don't forget the links on the description down below if you're interested enough to see more. So, looks like that was a one retro style vehicle for an awesome custom race on Gran Turismo Sport. And I'll see you guys next time. Keep on racing, stay cool.